What it is, what it do. Welcome to Pep Talk, a very special edition of Pep Talk today. We have a very special guest, Diamond Dallas Page. I got a chance to sit down with DDP, talk about yoga, the WWE Hall of Fame, an upcoming documentary with Jake Roberts, and some memories with Macho Man Randy Savage. This is the inaugural interview that we've had on Pep Talk, so thanks to Diamond for giving some time to us to talk to him. If anyone's new to Pep Talk, we are a pop culture mixed sports podcast with a lot of great analysts breaking down things, and going forward, we're going to have a lot of these great interviews as well. You can follow us on all our social medias at Facebook at Pep Talk Podcast, and our Instagram and Twitter are both the same at Pep Talk 42. We also have a YouTube page, which is also just Pep Talk, all the videos of some of our various podcasts and videos on there, so check it out. But here we go. Here's the interview. Diamond Dallas Page. DDP, welcome to Pep Talk.
Oh, good to be here, Josh.
Now, one of the things that you are renownedly known for is DDP Yoga. How did you come up with the idea for DDP Yoga?
Necessity, because you have to understand that, Josh, I'm a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga the first 42 years of my life, and now my name's attached to it. So, there's got to be a story behind that, right? So I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. My career didn't take off until I was 40 years old.
Right.
That was in 1996, and wrestling literally blew through, the cable networks, and wrestling between the WCW, the Monday Night Wars, WCW, and the WWF. Now everything's the WWE, but back then it was the war for the rating points, and we were, between the two companies, we were sometimes the top 4 shows for our Mondays and Thursday night shows. We were never less than top 2, like 1 and 2. We were always, had the biggest share. And with that comes crazy schedules. Like I was wrestling 275 days a year. My body bouncing off the mat. I was, by the time 96 came around, 97 and 98, I was so on fire. I probably headlined 13 out of 24 pay-per-views, main evented. So my career was crazy. I, going from a guy who was a nobody to a top guy in a very short time, and a lot of hard work. And, my body was getting abused on a daily level, along with doing the Tonight Show and the Craig Kilborn Show and Hollywood Squares and movies. And my schedule was insane. And then, I signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal, and then I blew my back out.
Oh.
And I had 3 of the top back specialists in the world tell me I'd never wrestle again. So when Kimberly, I was still married at the time, brought me the whole yoga thing, like, you should try it, it could heal your body. I was like, F that, I'm not doing that. I ain't doing yoga. Because I was very into holding back the hands of time and trying everything, but I was inflexible, let's say, to doing yoga. But at some point I had to, because it's all I could do besides the rehab. And I had been rehabbing my back with no real, nothing really moving the way it needed to. And the doctors told me it wouldn't. But I'd rehab both shoulder surgeries and both knee surgeries. So I knew quite a bit about rehab. Finally, she got me to try the tapes. And I was frustrated in the beginning, because everybody was a stick figure in Gumby, and there was no modification. So I had to figure them out. And little by little, I started to figure them out. And one night, about 3 weeks in, I really started to feel a significant difference. I felt like this is working. And I've been doing the rehab for my back the whole time. So I started to work that rehab for my back, and also the stuff I'd done with my shoulders, my knees, and my hips. So I'd been working that into, like, cross-pollinating, so to speak. And then I threw in some old school calisthenics, something we all know, like push-ups, squats, crunches, but done with a slow burn movement. And mixing this whole fusion together. And before you knew it, bro, I had a workout that later on would be called DDP Yoga. That was kick-ass cardio would dramatically increase your flexibility and strengthen your core like never before, all with minimal joint impact. In less than 3 months,
Wow.
with what would become DDP Yoga, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my wrestling career was over. At 43, I was a heavyweight champ of the world.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So I'm gonna keep doing that. That's how it came about. And then I just started turning on one buddy after another, and I was like, wow, this really does work. And then I wrote a book on the subject. I called it Yoga for Regular Guys. And I developed this workout for men originally. And, because a man will never do a chick's workout.
No.
But women will do men's workouts because they want to show I can do that too. And over the years, I've lost some of the really extreme masculine bravado that came with DDP Yoga. And it's pretty much down the middle. Right now, I probably have about 60% of the people, of the hundreds of thousands of people who've invested in the program, about 60% are men, and about 40% are women. And that number increases every year a little by little more and more with the women because they love it. They love the workout. They love the results that they're getting with the program.
Yeah, everywhere I go, I just see it now. Like DDP Yoga is everywhere. I mean, even if you listen to some of your colleagues' podcasts, like Jim Ross or Jericho, you just see the ads all over the place. And I can see the results on your website, too, of just the transformation some people have with this program.
One of the things, we have something that no one has. Well, actually, there'll be two things that nobody has. Of course, everyone has success stories. But nobody has, they just show weight loss.
Right.
Weight loss was never what this program was about. Weight loss turned out to be a really awesome side effect, because it was about helping healing beat up athletes be able to, become, back to feeling awesome again. And guys who were in the top end shape, taking them to the next level. So, that was originally what it came in. But on DDPyoga.com, well, first of all, you saw the video of the disabled veteran, Arthur Borman, the one I helped walk again, right?
Oh, absolutely. Brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah, everybody, and it's one of those things you can watch over and over and over again. We've got over 10.7 million views on that, just on our YouTube video, and it's been stolen off us a bunch of times. We don't care. Take it and send it and burn it on your own channel. I don't care. But it really showed that a disabled veteran who was 5'6", 297 pounds, who could not walk without the aid of the knee braces, the back brace. By the way, it took his wife 20 minutes every morning to put on the sleeves, the knee braces and the sleeves over the braces and the back brace to help her husband get out of bed and then put his wrists through those cups, those canes, to hobble to the bathroom every morning. To watch his video, if you haven't seen it, just go to ddpyoga.com just to do that, just to inspire yourself for the day. And you will see a man not only lose over 10-month period 140 pounds, you will watch him, more importantly, lose those knee braces, the back brace, and those wraparound canes, not just to walk, but to run. So that happened 7 years ago. DDP Yoga has been a brainchild of mine and a passion for 13 years. And not only to the last, we're coming up on our 3rd year anniversary, not only to the last 3 years have I taken a dime out of this company. I was $500,000 of my own money in the company before I took a dime. And I still continue to invest. We're building our first DDP Yoga Performance Center right outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Really?
20 minutes from the airport. We'll have people coming in from all over the world to come here to Smyrna, Georgia, the same place that Julia Roberts is from. It's only 20 minutes from the airport, 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta, Georgia. But we're building a performance center that is going to be like no other, because what we're building is a studio to film our workouts that will go worldwide. Our app that we're developing is going to take fitness to the next level. People will still buy the DVDs, of
Absolutely.
course, but they'll get the app to go with that. And at some point, just like records, 8-track, cassette, CDs, MP3s, they're all gone. Eventually the DVD will be gone, and it'll all be down to the app.
Yeah.
And I'm developing that for the future right now in my company. And we have some really amazing individuals, and anybody who follows our DDP TV channel on YouTube know that I've got some of the best editing guys, filming guys on the planet, because we're constantly putting out new videos out there it's another way people, invest in DDP Yoga, because they see these amazing stories. But the thing I haven't gotten to on DDPYoga.com, yes, we have those success stories, but we also have another level of what we call under construction. And what they are men and women who may have lost 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 80 pounds on the way to their goal. Maybe their goal is 30 pounds. Maybe their goal is 60. Some of their goals are 100 or 200 pounds that they need to lose to get to their goal weight. And we pop those up there so people can see these are people who are in the middle of the journey. And every couple of months, you'll see their story change. And then you'll see their story go from the under construction side, bloop, over to the success story side. And we have a new page we're working on right now that's all about pain management. And people, because I'm not going to tell you it'll heal your knees or it'll heal your back or your shoulders or your hips, but I got hundreds of thousands. I'm going to take so many of them and put them up there. But people who say, like, I've got fibromyalgia. I just posted like 3 months ago, and this woman wrote, I've got fibromyalgia. I've been in pain for the last 15 years. She said, I've been doing your program for 5 weeks. She goes, in the beginning, it was hard. It was challenging, but I stuck with it. And she goes, I just had to write you. I've never written on Facebook before. She said, I just had to write you to tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Today is the first morning I've woken up and I'm not in pain.
Wow, that's
thank
amazing.
you so much.
I think
That's the kind of stories we have.
I think one of the amazing things for this yoga thing that I've seen as it's gone on, like I remember.
Wait.
Go ahead, DDP.
This what thing?
Yeah.
What thing? This, you called it what?
Yoga.
No. What's the name?
Oh, it's not your mama's yoga.
No, what's the name?
DDP Yoga.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because, again, bro, Josh, I didn't make this for the yogis. They got, Bikram, Anusara, Svinyasana. They got all these kinds of yoga. And then way over here to the left is a DDP yoga.
Right.
Okay, we're good. Now you got it. Go ahead.
I think the best thing about DDP Yoga is I remember, and I'm sure a lot of people that will listen to this do, is I remember you being that heavyweight champion. And you were one of the guys that brought me to WCW back in the day. You're one of the guys that stood out to me when I was watching it. And now watching you do this DDP Yoga, and not only you changed, for example, we know the story about Chris Jericho using it to get himself back into the ring, your story, but the stories that you use about all these people using it and getting over all those things, I think that's one of my favorite things about following this as it continues to get bigger and bigger.
It's fun. It's fun. God just blessed me again this morning, or I should say last night. Yeah, I've been very blessed a bunch of times, but we are going to be on Shark Tank again.
Wow.
Because they're showing the reruns. And when I tell you business-wise, I never went on there to get a deal. I went on there to get exposure. And I wasn't going to give up more than 5%, and Sharks knew it. And, I didn't get a deal, but again, I didn't go there to get a deal. But I did go there to raise awareness and to see what Shark Tank could really bring to the table. And now we're talking about the first run, and we did $1 million in sales in 6 days.
Oh, wow.
And what that shows is, because people didn't go there and immediately buy. They left Shark Tank and came to our site over those next 6 days, and they researched, because there is so much information from how to do the workouts to breakdowns of video trailers of each workout, to testimonies, to under construction, to about DDP Yoga. I mean, there's everything you could possibly want to know. So that means that $1 million worth of people came there and bought that program. That's like 10,000 orders.
Wow.
11,000 orders. Like, boom. We've sold over 111,000 programs.
Jeez.
In less than 3 years. And what that means, Josh, is it works.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the really amazing part. So God bless me last night, because we found out last week that we were going to be on July 4th, and I was like, awesome, that's going to be a great weekend. And then I realized, no, we're going to be on July 4th at 9 o'clock. Wait a minute, July 4th, 9 o'clock, that's when they're doing the fireworks. Oh, my God. That's the worst time. Oh, God. But no, I was still, well, you know, it's still amazing. It's going to be awesome. And then last night, Shark Tank the thing saying, we've changed your date. It's going to be June 27th.
Beautiful.
I was Daniel Bryant. Yes. 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 I'm like, well, lady, what are you doing? What are you doing? I go, they changed the date. I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. So, that was a great thing. So everybody wants to see what we're doing. You see it right there on Shark Tank on the 27th. That's 10 days.
I definitely advise everyone to do it. It's one of, like, just watching all the videos that you guys have put up. Like you said, you guys got being in someone in broadcasting, some of the best editing I've ever seen, too, for some of those videos. Absolutely fantastic.
My team works really great. They work hard. What we're developing right now, it's an amazingly exciting project, because of what the result was, is the resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Oh, yeah.
And we have been filming this movie for over 20 months. And it has, it has so much potential. I mean, we're not trying to develop just a documentary. Our goal is to develop a documentary that will be Oscar nominated. Now, that's a really bold statement.
Definitely.
Some people might think it is cocky, but it's not. It's just a goal. You know, I haven't been crazy enough to say we're going to win the Oscar. You know, I just want to have the acknowledgement of our first film, because this is such a passionate part of what we're all about. And, you know, DDP Yoga has a lot to do with it, but it's the story of Jake. And we just, you know, it's a roller coaster. If you watch any of our videos on DDP TV, you can see that it's not just up stuff, it's down stuff. It's a roller coaster. And now we're filling it in with interviews, you know, from different superstars, from Ted DiBiase, who's right there in the middle of it with Jake, Gene Okerlund, Jim Ross, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, got an outside view from Jericho and Edge both.
Jeez.
We got who else we got? We had a couple more guys. I can't remember off the top of my head. But just the guy. I don't know if you and Jake had that thing in TMZ where it was like the darkest hour for him, where he was all whacked out, and you know, and the guy who was there in the middle of it all, who was right there in the whole TMZ thing, who got the promo on and everything. We interviewed him. You know, I mean, it's like the roller coaster that has been Jake's life. Wow. But you know, it's a story of a guy. You know, when I inducted Jake in the Hall of Fame on my birthday, April 5th, which was like the greatest birthday present ever.
No kidding.
Considering 18 months before that, I set a goal with my buddy Steve Yu, who's my business partner and an amazing, really, really smart guy. We are the ones who are co-producing. He's directing, and he's the head director and editor of the film as well. And we set a goal that we're going to end this movie when Jake gets in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
18 months from now. And Jake thought we were nuts, and he set a goal he wanted to get in the Royal Rumble, and getting on the Monday night, Legends show was a goal that he didn't even set because we didn't even know that was possible. But that opened up so many doors, and he's doing so good, and, but he's an addict. So there's always that the shoe could drop at any moment.
I think
that's part of living on that.
When you talk about Oscar nominated, though, I don't think you're too far off, just because, for people that have followed the story of Jake Roberts, it's a really, really deep story. And even watching the Hall of Fame speech, too, you felt that speech. So you felt it when he came up there. And you could feel it, too, when you were inducting him, how happy you were to induct this man and how happy he was to be there.
Yeah, it was, it's funny because I had a different version written.
Oh.
And, I gave it to the WWE because they're the ones who wanted me to do it. And it wasn't my night. It was Jake. So, I had certain things the way I wanted to say it. If it was my night, I just would have done it my way. But it was for Jake. And there was a couple of things that they wanted just a different version of. So 3/4 of that speech was still the same one, but in a whole different, changing up your song request and making up a new song before you go out there. I did that right before I walked out there. And it was, I think it was better. I think, because Triple H pulled me aside. He said, Dally, listen, I love what you did with this. He goes, but do you think you maybe might want to just change the feel right here and maybe bring one of the stories in? So I got to sit down and think about that snake story, losing the snake in my house.
Yeah.
And I have to eliminate all the F-bombs, that normally go with that story, and replace them with other words or facial expressions, which that was the challenge, and it really came out better than I even thought it was. And Jake's speech was just amazing.
It was one of the best. Everyone's speech that night was phenomenal. But when we watched, we had a few friends watching it that night. Everybody, people that we knew that weren't even wrestling fans, they said, "No, you got to watch it. You got to know this guy's story." And they were coming to tears, and they could just feel how happy and passionate this guy was to be there.
You see, that's where I think that we're really going to score unbelievably huge with this movie, is because people loved the wrestler, the movie. They were people who never watched wrestling ever. So we have all of those people. And I know so many of them would call me up and go, "Oh, my God, I've watched wrestling since I met you, but I was never a wrestling fan. But that movie, oh, my God, that so pulled me in." Well, that's Jake Roberts' story.
There you go.
It's like they took the version of Jake's story. Instead of one kid, Jake's got 8. So, magnify times all of that. And Randy the Ram wasn't doing crack.
No.
No. But, the bottom line is that I really believe it's going to give Jake an even different life.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be, he's bouncing around so happy right now. I just saw him a little while ago. He came by while we were just finishing up the workout, because he was supposed to be there to work out today, but he was supposed to have his operation, and then he's got to get that metastatic cancer taken out of him.
Right.
But he's just been working so much. So, but he looks great. He looks great. And he's staying really healthy, and he's actually in love right now, which for him is, awesome. I'm happy for him.
That's just awesome to hear. One of the other guys, too, that you've taken care of was Scott Hall. And,
that story is another one. We're going to both be inducted the same night. And, they're both completely different characters, though. Scott listens to me, but not like Jake does. Jake gets it. And sometimes Scotty, he's got to work through things himself, and if he just, if he let me guide him a little bit more, I think he could just be on fire, in certain superstars that, I'm like not just the talent. I'm my own manager. I'm my own promoter. I'm all my own stuff. And I work in, Scott was famous for saying to me, Dally, you're so positive. How do you stay so positive? I work at it. It just doesn't happen. Just like I work at DDP Yoga, just like I work at my business, just like I work at my reading and my speaking and everything. Nothing just happens. You got to work at it, especially if you've got depression problems. And both of those guys got depression problems. So you got to work at not being depressed. It's a challenge, especially when you got the whole chemical imbalance thing too.
Right.
So you really got to work at it. It's like people who have food allergies, you can't eat that food. You just can't. It's poison to you. And I deal with that a lot, teaching people, what's real food and what's not.
Right. When you were at the Hall of Fame too, obviously huge for you to bring in Scott and Jake. Did a part of you wonder when will be my time?
Yeah, in the back of your mind, I would probably say that's true, but not really. I knew that at some point it's going to happen, and when it does, it does. I'm not. I'm actually going into. I'm being recognized by the Dan Gable Museum,
wow.
the Hall of Fame, Dan Gable Hall of Fame in Iowa.
Oh, wow.
On the 17th, I'm going out there, and they actually gave me the Frank Gotch Award, which Mick Foley's gotten, and Jesse Ventura's gotten. Some pretty high-profile people in my industry have gotten. So it'll all work its way around, and until Randy Savage is in there,
yeah.
I'm not really, and he's not yet. So, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Like I've always been that person that always wanted it to happen now.
Mm-hmm.
And then over my life, I realized, well, maybe it's not supposed to happen yet. Because when everything happens for me, it happens right when it's supposed to. And I think patience is not a virtue I hold on to, but I'm getting better at it all the time.
I don't want to take too much of your time, so I just got a few more questions for you. You mentioned Randy Savage, arguably your biggest feud that you've ever had in your career. Do you have like a good Randy story for us at all?
Oh, God, I got 1,000 of them. There's, one of the reasons I stay really positive because I try to focus on what I have as opposed to what I don't have. And right now I'm so blessed. I have so many things. It's ridiculous. But then I try to think of more, more of the more important things as opposed to the material things. And Randy Savage really, was the reason that my career exploded. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were the reason where they helped me when the diamond cutter was so hot and me getting to drop the NWO guys, which was my idea.
Oh, yeah.
And the booking company, we took it to Eric Bischoff, and he wasn't sure if he could get it passed through. And Scott Hall said to him, well, we all know you and Dally are buddies. Everybody knows. He goes, if being your friend's not a good thing, he said, I'm not sure if I want to continue working here. So Scotty really stepped up for me there, and those guys doing that for me was really huge for my career. But it was Randy Savage who made me a top guy. It was Jake Roberts who taught me how to be that top guy, right, and how to handle all the heat that comes with that. But Randy, our first match, the Friday before pay-per-view, we'd never done the diamond cutter. Besides that time, we did it in the middle of the ring. Oh. We had never done it at that point.
Really?
Because I'd just taken elbows. I'd only just taken, I hit Scott with a diamond cutter, but I hadn't hit Randy just going into the pay-per-view. And we'd worked a bunch of house shows, meaning there's no cameras. And, we were main eventing everywhere. And it was always some kind of schmoz finish. The NWO would run out, hit a couple of NWO guys at diamond cutters, and then get beat down to the ground. And that's how the show pretty much would end every night. And then one night, Arn Anderson walked in and he said, so much. It was just me and Macho in the locker room. And he said, so what do you want to do tonight? And he looked up at Arn and he went back to lacing up his boots. He goes, well, I think I want to take the diamond cutter. He went back to lacing his boots up and Arn almost fell over. And he said, well, Diamond, I hope you understand it's going to be huge for your career. I'm like, yeah, Arn, I get that. But, it's still not in front of anybody. It's only in front of this crowd because Randy wanted to test it out, see how the people were going to react. Like, are they really buying this like he thinks they are? So we went out there. We had a hell of a match. The place was packed, hanging from the rafters. It was so hot in there. Our company was so hot. 97. Oh, yeah. It was like April of 90. It was actually end of March, 97, and we couldn't get any hotter.
No.
And we were selling out 22,000 seat arenas in 8-10 minutes. And this was one that was sold out way before. It was just a hockey arena that only held like 11,000 people. So they were jam-packed.
Right.
And we got to the end of that match, and, we had a hell of a match. People were live, like, unbelievable. And then we got to the end, and, Randy's beating me down, and I'm firing back, and he's beating me down, and I'm firing back, and the crowd's going crazy. And finally, I blew that comeback, and he stopped me in the middle of it, and he went to slam me, and he said, diamond cutter. And I freaking turned it into a diamond cutter out of nowhere, and the roof exploded.
Wow.
So we're both laying there, and I just draped my arm across him, and the entire building goes, 1, 2. And I don't think they believed it. But when they said 3, it was like pandemonium. And it was so loud and noisy in there, but I could hear Randy as if he was talking to me and nobody was in the room. And he went, well, I guess we know what we're going to do at Spring Stampede.
That is
like,
awesome.
That happened.
That's awesome. Wow. Wow. It really sounds like he did have like a big impact on you then for your career.
Oh, he did. We were the feud of the year in 1997, and I'll leave you with this last story, and then I got to roll.
For sure.
At Thanksgiving, back then in 97, everybody had beepers. I had a cell phone, but, there was no texting or any of that shit. So I'm getting all these beeps from people. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for helping me. I probably helped 30 guys live their dream, from Canyon to Glacier to Kidman to Disco to Raven to, I helped so many people get jobs at WCW. And I'm getting all these people thanking me, for helping them. And I'm thinking, who am I grateful to? Besides my family and my close buddies like Dusty and Jake and all the guys who knew,
Right.
Well, who am I thankful for who probably doesn't know? I thought, Savage, I'm going to call him. So I picked up the phone and I called him. I said, of course, he didn't answer his phone because I don't think he ever answered his phone the entire time I knew him. And he said, hey, Randy, it's DDP. I know this is going to sound kind of corny, but, I got all these guys texting me or, beeping me today and sending me message about thank you for helping them, helping them, live their dream. And, I'm thinking, God, this is so cool, man, but who am I thankful for? Who doesn't know it? And I thought, most likely you, and you don't know it. So I just wanted to reach out and say, hey, dude, I really appreciate what you've done for me because I know I'm not in this spot without you. So I just wanted to say thanks. And I hung up the phone. That was it. Now, the next week, for some reason, he wasn't on TV. But then I think he was on vacation or something. But the next week, he was. And when he saw me backstage, Randy was that guy behind the scenes, too. He was so intense, and he really talked like that. So when he would get amped up, he would get even more extreme. And when he saw me, he's like, Diamond. I said, hey, Randy, get over here. Come here. I'm like, oh, God, what the hell did I do? So, because I completely forgot about the phone call. And he grabbed me and he pulled me in this room and he goes, I got your message. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, I got it. And I called up my dad, and I played it for him. So his dad was a very famous wrestler in the 50s, 60s, 70s. He goes, Dad, did any of the boys ever leave you a message like this? He said, Randy, I never heard about anybody even doing this, saying this. He goes, I just want you to know it meant the world to me. You're welcome. And he gave me a big hug. You know, it was just like, just saying thank you to some people. You know, you never know. Please and thank you.
Wow.
It don't take that much. It don't take that much to do that. I'm going to leave you with that, bro. Live life with an attitude of gratitude. Focus on the things that you do have as opposed to what you don't.
Absolutely. Well, DDP, thank you so much for being the inaugural guest on Pep Talk. We mean it a lot. Where can people find you on social medias?
Well, you know, I always tell people, no matter what, everything I said about DDP Yoga, don't listen to a word I say. Go to Facebook, one word, DDP Yoga. And then go where it says people put the post down and read what people are saying. What they're writing to me, you know, thanking me for helping heal their bodies or fucking changing their life. You can't get people to chant Stone Cold or Hogan or Rock or DDP. You can't get them to do that. They got to feel it. They got to be emotionally connected to those people. It's just like on Facebook. You can't get people to write the stuff they write. They got to be mentally and engaged with what you're doing. They've got to be attached to what you're doing. You've got to really make an impact on them. So go to DDP Yoga, one word, on Facebook, or go to Twitter, @RealDDP, @DDP Yoga. Read what people are writing right now. It'll blow your mind. My friend, glad to be on your inaugural show, and it's been your pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Best of luck with everything.
See you, buddy.
Cheers.
Bye.